Thank you for this invitation. And my name is Grethe Tomas, and I'm the project director of the Danish foundation Trygfonden. And I have been looking very much forward to telling you about the great success we, in collaboration with many other partners, have had in raising survival rate after hospital cardiac arrest in Denmark. Today I will mostly focus on the Heartrunner program, which is an app that close to 150,000 Danish volunteers responders have signed up for to run to a cardiac arrest nearby them to provide CPR and use an AD. Very briefly about my background, I'm a nurse and I'm also an anthropologist, and I have worked for over 40 years, as it was told, in different private and public organizations, all with the aim of improving healthcare in Denmark. My agenda will be very briefly about the Danish Foundation and why did we get involved in this field of resuscitation and the way we use to engage Danes in saving lives, and the Trygfonden Heartrunner program and all the learnings from the Heartrunner program. Very briefly about the foundation. We are a non-profit established in 1998 with a mission to inspire everyone in Denmark to take responsibility for their own safety and for the safety of others. The foundation is owned by an investment company which is the majority shareholder in the insurance company Tryg. Tryghed means safety, feeling safe in Danish. This year we have around 12 billion Icelandic kroner to spend on resuscitation and other initiatives, and we are accountable to our board for showing good results. And I will start with the takeaway messages. What can you do as a private player if you are willing to spend money, have talent for campaigning and public relations, are collaborating with ambitious scientists, are willing to take chances and test new methods, are independent in terms of political agendas? In Denmark, we have succeeded in quadrupling bystander rate and survival rate over the last 20 years. In this presentation, I will focus on Trygfonden's contribution to the society by mobilizing volunteer responder. And you can see the starting point was very low. Only 90% did bystander CPR and only 4% survived. So it was a low-hanging fruit for the foundation to go into this field. And we went forward step by step. We began encourage the Danes to learn CPR, and we began donating AEDs to public places and create awareness of them. In 2006, we launched the AED network, and in 2017, we launched Trygfonden Heartrunner program. To achieve this, it requires extensive organization, which we have established in cooperation with the emergency medical services in Denmark. And I had understood earlier this day that the emergency medical services in Denmark has the same role as 112 in Iceland. All the way since 2003, we have associated research to our activities to document the effects, and we build on what we learn. This is a quick overview, and now I would like to elaborate on some of the milestones that led to the Heartrunner program. In 2004, few Danes knew what an AED was, and only few AEDs were placed in public places. As you know, every second counts when a cardiac arrest occurs, and therefore Trygfonden saw great potential in engaging the citizens in resuscitation. To accomplish that, we needed the AEDs to be accessible. The foundation decided to donate AEDs to the Copenhagen airport, where they now are visible and accessible to the public. And since 2006, we have donated 100 AEDs each year to public places all over the country. And the reason we started in the Copenhagen airport is it was a very small area, and I will always recommend when you do a new walk into a new field, you try your efforts in a small field. And in airports we have a lot of cardiac arrest, so it was very natural for us to go into the airport as a start. And we acknowledged that we needed to engage with the politicians at a national level to reach a higher bystander rate. Therefore, we arranged meetings with all the political parties at the Danish parliament. Our efforts paid off. The parliament adopted 2 bills making CPR training in public schools mandatory when obtaining a driver's license. We know that good habits established during childhood continue into adulthood. Therefore, it was really important step to make sure future generations get CPR training and learn how to use an AED at least twice while growing up. So far, we motivate Danes to provide CPR, and we are working for AEDs to be accessible to laypersons. But we also need the Danes to know where to find the AEDs. So in 2006, Trygfonden developed and established the Danish AED network, which is a web-based map of Denmark. Private and public owners can register their AEDs, and everybody can see where the nearest AED is located. It was the first system of its kind in the world, and I'm not aware if any other countries have an AED network, but we know this is functional very good in Denmark. And as you can see, we have given the AEDs different colors. So the green AEDs, they are accessible 24/7. The yellow AEDs are accessible during office hours, for instance, in banks and in offices. And the red AEDs are under lock and key. The AED network is being validated several times a day. And today, more than 23,000 AEDs across the nation for a population of 5.7 million are registered. More than 67 AEDs are available 24/7, and the AED network also comes in an app version. The AED network is the foundation on which we have built the HeartRunner program. The network is only valuable because of all the thousands of AED owners who acknowledge the importance of sharing the AEDs with the community. Trygfonden has through all the years made a huge effort to make people register their AEDs. As you see, it has been a great success, but it's still work in progress. In fact, we know that 25% of sold AEDs in Denmark are not registered. So we had to work on that. In 2010, the 5 Danish emergency medical services dispatch centers got access to the AED network, so they can guide bystanders to the nearest available AED. And the dispatcher instructs the caller in how to perform CPR until the arrival of the ambulance. And as I just told you, I learned earlier today that it's 112 who take the calls here in Iceland, and in Denmark it was 112 until 2010, and then it was the medical persons who take over if they are talking about illness or something like that. So it has changed in 2010. And since 2003, bystander CPR has been rising steadily, but the AEDs were not activated enough. And as you know, when you have a cardiac arrest, you need to be defibrillated in order to come back to life again. Trygfonden therefore launches the HeartRunner program in 2017 in collaboration with the 112 system in the capital region of Denmark. If there are no volunteers, there's no HeartRunner program. So before I go into detail with the program, I will therefore show you a campaign film that we use to recruit HeartRunners. It has been on television and social media several times, and it illustrates the cooperation between the emergency medical system, the civil society, and 112.
Vagtcentralen, det er sygeplejerske Annette. Hvad er der sket?
Jeg skal have en ambulance. Jeg tror, min mand er ude af hjertestop.
Jeg sender hjælpen ud til jer. Den kommer hurtigt. Der er en ambulance på vej, og der kommer også hjerteløber ud til jer. Jeg kan se, at ambulancen er hastigt på vej til. Den kommer inden for få minutter, ikke? Så er der rundt.
Der kommer muligvis nogen og banker på døren. En hjerteløber. Der er nogen, der er ude og åbne for dem. Det er ham med hjertestarteren. Han er i gang.
And this call is a real call, so the telephone call is a right person, and he survived. The husband survived, so that's good. So when the alarm goes off, volunteers over the age of 18 can sign up for the Heart Runner program. You download the app and register. To prepare yourself for a mission, you can try the test alarm to find out how it sounds and see how the information flow works in the app. When someone calls 112, dispatcher can activate Heart Runners and send an alarm through the Heart Runner app. The Heart Runners who accept the alarm are either told to run straight to the patient to provide CPR or to pick up an AED on their way. The app guides the Heart Runner exactly like Google Maps. 20 Heart Runners in a radius of 5 kilometers receive the alarm. In that way, we increase the chances that some Heart Runners are available and ready to run. You can either run, ride a bike, or go by car. It's up to the Heart Runner to decide. When Heart Runners arrive on the scene, they provide CPR and use an AED. If more Heart Runners arrive, they take turns providing CPR, guide the ambulance to the right place, and take care of the patient's relatives. After a mission, the Heart Runners receive a text message with a survey. They are asked about the mission. Did they arrive before the ambulance? Did they perform CPR? Did they activate an AED? Did they take care of their relatives? And how was the experience? They are also offered a debrief from 112 if they feel the need. Regarding this, recognition from the ambulance personnel is important. When the EMS takes over, they always thank the Heart Runners and other bystanders for their help and for their contribution to saving lives. We launched the program in 2017 in the capital region of Denmark, right here. And in 2020, it became nationwide, only 2 months after the breakout of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is the first program of its kind in Denmark, and researchers are running a randomized research program in the capital region of Denmark, investigating the Heart Runners' impact on survival rates. Besides that, there are many PhD students investigating how often Heart Runners arrive and perform CPR before the arrival of the ambulance, and the physical and psychological impact on the Heart Runners. Today we are close to 150,000 Heart Runners. Since we launched the project, there has been a constant interest among the Danish media to tell about the program and encourage Danes to join. Trygfonden also launches awareness campaigns and news through the media whenever there is a news like a huge race in number of Heart Runners, stories about people who survive, and news from the researchers. All the media covers make the Heart Runners stay top on mind and make the number of Heart Runners rise steadily. In June 2021, the Heart Runner program got some unexpected attention. Christian Eriksen from the Danish national football team suffered from a cardiac arrest in the match against Finland in the European Championship. In the Danish media, his rapid resuscitation brought a lot of attention on the heart runner program, and in just few days, more than 2,000 heart runners signed up. On top of that, many international media contacted us to hear about the program and how we succeed in engaging so many volunteers. And just to be clear, no heart runners was, of course, sent into this field. And how is it going? Since the launch of the heart runner program, there has been more than 9,600 suspected out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. 160,000 heart runners have received an alarm, and 50,000 have been on a mission. Before signing up as a heart runner, we recommend that you attend a life-saving first course. Surveys show that more than 95% of the heart runners are trained in CPR, and around 25% of the heart runners are healthcare professionals. This includes a broad term from physicians, nurses, and paramedics. There is an equal part of men and women, and there is a predominance of younger people. The average age is 32, and it has been that young since the beginning. The Heart Runner program is a result of excellent cooperation for many years across sectors in Denmark between the Trygfonden, the 112, and of course the willingness of the citizens to make a difference. We know that heart runners arrive before the ambulance in approximately 6 out of 10, and the likelihood for bystander defibrillation has tripled. The cooperation between the heart runner and the professionals are successful. 93% of the emergency physicians find the help from heart runners is relevant, and 85% stated that heart runners have the necessary skills to perform CPR. A study shows that the heart runner are invaluable support for the relatives. The heart runner takes the relatives away from the resuscitation scene, talk to them, calm them down, and some even offers to drive the relatives to the hospital after the ambulance has left. And some take care of the dog. Many heart runners share experiences on Facebook and Twitter. The post you can see here on the left is only a few weeks old. The woman was waiting in a line in a grocery store when she had an alarm from the Heart Runner app. She told the person behind the counter that she had to leave her groceries and run. The store manager got the alarm as well, and they ran together. And the day after, she went back and gave him some flowers. And I think the reason of that is maybe her husband, she is a doctor herself, and her husband is the research, head of the research at the Heart Runner program. And what have we learned? It is possible to make a huge impact to involve Danes as heart runner. It takes time and depends on a close and trustful cooperation with the pre-hospital system and 112. As a foundation, it's not possible to do this on our own. We have the money, but we need the expertise and collaboration from the 112 system. We need to be aligned because in the EMS system that alerts the heart runners and the ADs. We have made some changes based on experience from the first years. Original 10 heart runners were alerted in a radius of 1.8 kilometers. To increase the chance that one of our more heart runners arrived at the patient, we decided to expand the number of heart runners to 20 in a radius of 5 kilometers. This is especially relevant in the countryside where the population density is lower and where the response time for the ambulance is longer. We also decided to include cardiac arrest among children. At first, we thought that it would be too traumatic for the heart runners to handle children, but we decided that it would be secure and that children should be offered the same possibility for help as adults. We have implemented a cancel function so the dispatcher can cancel an alert. It is useful in case that we find out that the alerting of the heart runners is not a cardiac arrest, but maybe suicide, murder, or trauma from a traffic accident. By cancelling, we avoid putting the heart runners into a traumatic situation. Heart runners are first and foremost supposed to save lives, but as I told before, we are surprised about the heart runners' positive impact positive impact on the relatives. One very important thing when cooperating with volunteers is communication. You must be very clear in your communication when preparing the heart runners for their mission and what they can expect when they sign up. We communicate very clear, and you must consider if you are robust enough to take the task. Self-assessment is not always sufficient, and people with lack of robustness risk a bad experience. Retain and motivate the volunteers and ensure continued commitment by keeping them informed with news about the Heart Runner program, resuscitation and positive stories where Heart Runners make a difference. Remember to show them recognition, also from the 112 personnel. Heart Runner literally burst into private homes with adrenaline pumping in their body, ready to make a difference. Therefore, appropriate conduct are important, values to implement among the heart runners. For example, remember to identify yourself as a heart runner when you're entering a private home. Do not park your bike or car in the way that block for the way of the ambulance. Follow the traffic rules on your way, etc. Heart runners must be reassured that it's okay to dismiss an alarm. Still, we find that some people get frustrated that they can't run. We remind them that they are a supplement to the 112 and ambulance service, and professional help is always on their way. I'm hopeful about continuing the great progress in Denmark, especially to activate the AEDs even more, and here the heart runners can do a big difference to bring AEDs into private homes, where 76% of the cardiac arrest occurs. The last thing I will show you is our latest campaign film, showing the impact from heart runners and the entire community when a cardiac arrest occurs. And this story is the right story as well. So the heart runners you see was the heart runners on scene, and the man who was resuscitated is also the person who got resuscitated.
Her er Hans. Han har engang været død. Men han har det fint i dag, tak. For hans kone ringe 112. Tak for det, Lea. Og tak til dig på vagtcentralen, der tilkaldte ambulancen og hjerteløberne. Søren og Anne og Monique. Tak fordi I smed alt, hvad I havde i hænderne. Og tak til Jørgen, der stod lige i nærheden, da det skete. For han fik fat på Johan, og sammen fik de fat på hjertestarteren, som i øvrigt er Kurts hjertebarn. Tak, Kurt. Og så selvfølgelig tak til sejlklubben for at have den hængende. Det er 2 år siden hans døde. Så han har købt is til alle dem, der på den ene eller den anden måde var med til at genoplive ham. Tak for is, Hans.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So informative. And this program is an amazing one. Few questions. First of all, Trygfonden, how important is it for you to have it as an independent and non-profit company?
It's very important to be independent. Otherwise, people will think we make all these improvements to help the insurance company. So it's very, very important to be independent because we also work together with all the scientists, and they don't want to work together with private companies. So the foundation has to be independent.
Yeah. Concerning AED program, the network, the program itself, have you been trying to put it up in Sweden, Norway, in your neighboring countries?
Yeah, we have been collaborating with Sweden, and I know they have an AED network now, and Norway is on their way. I know they have started an AED network as well in Norway.
Okay, but what about us here in Iceland? Are we able to have a program like this? Can we literally copy it?
I think you can, But you need to have an AD network first, because you need the ADs to resuscitate the person with the out-of-hospital cardiac arrest. So the first task you have is to make an AD network, and that's easy done if you can mobilize the citizens to register the ADs, and after that you can put on top the Heart Runner program.
Take a notice of that. Well, one question more. Accident, of course, happens every day and night. At homes, in companies, factories, during leisure time, everywhere. Do you see any pattern over 40 years in your country? Are we improving? Are we getting better on some fields? Is there any pattern?
I think we have been better in Denmark to helping each other. People are stepping forward to help their neighbor in many ways. We have other programs in the regime of the foundation where people help about burglary and fire and stuff like that. So we have many programs like the Heart Runner programs in other fields.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a nice time here in Iceland.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for inviting me.
Listen to me. Don't judge us as a nation, as a society, due to the weather.
I promise I won't. Thank you.